Hey guys, welcome back to our third episode here of Oversteer and Underdogs. Obviously, you know myself and my buddy over here, Rob. Today, Rob, we all know what today was. We had a pretty solid race over in Italy.
Pretty good, honestly. All around good action. Some unfortunate incidents, but literally it was a great time. I enjoyed the race. It was fast, very fast all around.
Yeah,
So
fastest ever.
yeah, speaking of fastest ever. Dude, 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 dude. That man is insane. 64.465 miles an hour for qualifying. Absolutely
Insanity.
nuts. Record time.
He thought everybody forgot who he was.
I don't
Just
think.
felt like he should remind us.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a thing for a very long time, is people forgetting. He just had to reassure it at that point. That was just an insane performance all weekend long from him. Literally 165 mile an hour average speed. What?
That's with a 55 mile an hour corner.
That's insane. Like, I mean, I feel like a handful of us have gone that speed before at a top speed, not an average speed. You got to go way faster for that average speed.
Yeah. For like a half a second, maybe we touched it. But
literally
Jesus.
insane. What, 19-second gap between him and Lando at the end?
The fastest car in the history of this regulation we have currently. Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
19 seconds. And like, I was thinking to myself too, like, this is reminding me a little bit of, 21, 22, and 23 Verstappen.
Yeah.
When he was doing that every race, 25 seconds, like 28 seconds, like that was cool to see.
Yeah. He was fired up this weekend. Something just got him going. I don't know what it was, but it was impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, he basically ran no downforce. If you look at the spec between him and Yuki, like he was driving the NASCAR version of an F1 car. There was no downforce and way too much power. I mean,
without the bumper.
And even you will look at the interview of Fernando after the fact and just how impressed he was, saying there's nobody else who can outdrive the machine that they have like he can. Puts it in perspective, especially somebody who's been in F1 as long as Fernando has. I mean, longest career in the history of F1. He's seen them all. He's seen it all.
Yeah.
I mean, Max was already an eye-opening character, but that opened everybody's eyes, I think, just that much more. And him being able to show his personality the way he has through and through it all, keeping a sense of humor.
Dude, the fist pump at the end. Field. Like, literally, I remember, like I had mentioned a couple years back, like, he'd get it and he'd just be like, yep, great job. Like, no emotion, like, didn't really give a shit. Like, it felt like it was just another day in the office. Like, even his third place finishes and second place and obviously his podiums recently, at least this year, like you just said, showing that emotion, showing that he is not a robot that just gets behind the wheel every weekend and drives. Having fun.
Yep.
It's cool to see.
The guy, it is. And at the end of the day, he's realizing, I get to drive a really fast car for a living, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think once he won his first championship and then 2 and then 3, he kind of loosened up on his seriousness, and it's only made him faster.
Yeah.
He's now loose and fast, and it's, I mean, the guy is, I can't think of another talent like him, not to that level. He has it. I don't care what you put him in. He's fast.
Yeah.
He's just fast.
And as much as I mean, as much as we love Lewis, like, Lewis has always been very, like, strictly business in a sense. He still shows, like, more of the feelings and the emotions about that side. Max is always, again, he's always been dubbed the villain since he's been in it. He's always had that kind of mentality. Netflix did him dirty throughout that series. And being able to see him smiling and, like, again, the fist pump, hooping and hollering and everything, having fun, that was cool.
Well, that's the thing, you hate to see, you see these guys in any professional sport, right? They get in there, they get to do this thing, and some of them take it just like a job. They do. You see it all the time. It doesn't matter what sport it is: football, baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever you watch. There's a difference between the guys that are there having a good time.
Yep.
And there's a difference between the guys who are there just to get a job done. And we all know who they are. And one half is a heck of a lot more fun to watch than the other.
Yeah.
To see Max get to be this passionate, I think he's just not. He was so young when he came in. I think he had an expectation to live up to, and he was focused on it. And his dad is clearly a massive mentor to him, was super hyper focused on it. And that's why he's there. But now he gets to enjoy those fruits. He's becoming a dad, all these things he's realizing, I think, what it all means and what it all is to him.
Yeah.
But to see it's amazing. Everybody who said that him being a dad or an F1 car driver being a dad makes him weak, you were wrong.
So. Yeah.
I think the guy actually might have gotten braver. And maybe he's just trying to do cool stuff so that his kid can see. I don't know what it is, but moves on the outside every race that are just insane. Pushing guys into the grass.
I don't know about that.
He's Max.
Everyone said no. Everybody was like, of course, Lando was complaining about it. It goes from a 3-lane highway to 2 lanes, bro.
Absolutely, that was just racing. And Max knows it's there. Like I said before, he said last week. Oh yeah, like I said last week,
get in front of him or don't.
Yeah, like I said last week, he's the guy at 200 miles an hour remembers the rule book. He knows. And he knows from racing Lando for all these years, he was like, he's either going to back out or he's going to stick through it. And
mow the
lawn.
Once
Lando stuck through it.
Like pit lane, was that last year or was that earlier this year when he mowed the lawn? I think that was Miami, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Props to Lando though for sticking with it and coming back from this break braver than ever. It's what he needs.
Yeah, and honestly, like, today was interesting for McLaren. Like, obviously, they did not have anywhere near the same pace Max did. Max was gone within the first 10 laps. Once he got in front, that was it.
Yeah, once I saw that gap hit 4 seconds over Lando, it was, they're never catching him.
Unless there was a yellow, like, which everybody was hoping for. Everyone we'll talk about it later, but the Sainz and Ollie situation, they were all hoping for a yellow. Max was like, please, God, get back on the track.
Yeah. Honestly, even I think even if that happened, he was still getting away. I think he just had it today.
At that point, it would have been a quick pit to softs.
Yeah,
and then that would have been. Field.
He's just in qualifying. You had Lando set. I remember if you guys were watching the feed inside the garage, it was hilarious. Sad but hilarious. You have Lando coming across, setting a lap record. Whoa! Everybody's jumping, hooting, and hollering. Wow, this is amazing! And then literally 5 seconds later, everybody just deadpan. Stop.
Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat watching qualifying. Like, that was wild. Guy's just
he's an animal. He's made to race. That's what he's the perfect racing thing. He's Max Verstappen.
Yeah. And again, it is nice to, like, because I will even admit it, like, I was not a fan of Max for the longest time just because of how intense he was. But, like, he is going to go down as one of the greatest. He will be right up there with Lewis, even if he were to retire this year. I'm obviously he's not going to unless insane, crazy things happen. Even if he were to retire this year with only 4, he'd still be one of the best to ever do it.
The guy, and even I don't know if you guys had seen any of the post-race stuff they were talking about Max and what was going on in the garage, and him talking back to GP back on the wall there, talking about how Max picked this super low downforce spec. Some of the team wanted to go with something a little bit more high downforce, so we had a little bit more control in the corners, all that good stuff.
Yeah,
but he went with this. Some of the team agreed with him, and him and Joss have criticized the people who were against him. And he really proved he knows it. He knows what it was. I've heard the story. I think we've all heard the stories of how Josh used to mess with the go-kart he'd be racing, and he wouldn't tell him. He wouldn't tell him what he changed.
Wouldn't tell him.
Like, I changed something on the cart. I want you to tell me what it is.
And then he'd go out and blast around, and he'd have to figure it out.
Yeah, and that's evident to today with the level of understanding he has of how a car works and what it feels like when you drive it, and the suggestions he can make. His feedback is beyond most others on the field because of stuff like that.
You know what blows my mind? And it was last week. when he was still running really well, obviously. He comes over the radio and he's complaining about how there's something wrong. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, you're doing fine. And he's like screaming, cussing through the radio. And it's just like, that's why he is who he is because
It is.
he can fit everything. Like, it's just like when you're driving your own car, like you drive it every day to work, and then all of a sudden you
Mhm.
feel something. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. He's doing that at 200 miles an hour or at an average of 165 miles an hour around a track just for 2 hours. And he's
Right.
being able to do that as soon as something goes off. He feels a weird
Uh,
tick. He feels a weird rub. He knows what it is. And that's what sets him apart from 3/4 of that field.
Absolutely. He's just he is the perfect storm of driver.
Yeah.
Um, he's in that, like, when you look at Hamilton's domination for those years with Mercedes, it's that kind of zone. Like
Yeah.
you have it. You just have it. You could put him in a tractor and he'll still outperform 50% of the field. Look at Yuki in the same car. Yuki's not a bad driver. Yuki's a good driver. You put Yuki back in a racing bull and he's probably doing better than he is in a
Look
Red
at
Bull right
Liam
now. Exactly.
when he
And
can not run into people.
right. But now you put Max on the same car. You put Max in a racing bull, he's going to top that car out.
Yeah.
And it might not be able to have that peak. Max is the only one who can peak the current car at Red Bull the way
Yeah.
he can. There's nobody else who can do it. It's been proven.
And they're like, oh, they made it for
It's been
Max.
proven.
No, they just made a donkey and he's a good driver and he can drive. That's it. So McLaren,
Hmm.
very interesting at the end. Obviously, like we had said earlier, they didn't have the pace to catch Max, but what are your thoughts on that exchange between Oscar and the team and swapping positions back?
I remember coming up to the end of the race there, and I'm like, oh, there's only 10 laps left, and neither one of these guys is pitted. Uh, you know,
We're
I'm
banking
curious to
on
see what
that,
happens here.
safety car.
Yeah, and I really I was curious to see what happened if McLaren was going to be how decisive they were going to be with this pit strategy here, what they were going to do, if they were going to give Oscar the undercut, if they were going to let Lando pick, and they let Lando pick. He said give Oscar the first pit, which I was very surprised about. I
Because they
think,
wanted to keep Leclerc behind.
yeah, but I don't think Leclerc was ever actually a threat, quite honestly.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But then, you obviously pit Lando and you're like, wow, they're really doing this. It's going to be an undercut. They're going to be right on top of each other. And we were going to have some. Sorry. We're,
Don't die on me.
we were going to, Christ. We were going to have some good racing there. Jesus.
Need some water.
We were going to have some real good racing there. And then obviously the shenanigans with Lando stop happen. He got front left tire, doesn't really want to. I couldn't tell if he tried to put it on the wheel guy, if he tried to put it on and didn't just tighten all the way, or if he forgot. It was odd.
Yeah. When I saw the replay, it looked like he hit it and then stopped and was like, it's on. And the dude was like,
Yeah.
no, hit it again. And then he hit it again. So I don't think
like
the lug was
half-did
on
it.
all the way. I think there was like maybe a quarter turn left that had to go or something.
Right. And added 4 seconds and it let Oscar by. But if you're, by the time he got out of the pit, they would have been on top of each other. We would have had some serious racing going on here.
Yeah.
And I would have been real curious to see how desperate Oscar would have been to get by if it mattered that much.
Yeah, because
it's only 3 points.
Yeah. I don't know.
Exactly. It's like, how hard would he have gone? If I think given what happened, they let him out, and after this really slow stop, they're one behind another. Lando's catching him already. He was catching him. He was going to catch him by the end of the race. Just watching the split times. I think it was going to be a good race. I think Lando was the more desperate driver.
Yeah.
Just being down in the points. In a way, I feel like we were kind of robbed of a good race.
Yeah. I feel like out of everybody, the fans were the ones who lost out on that.
Yeah, and I can understand them wanting to preserve the car, or whatever, what have you. I get it. From a team standpoint, good management. But as a viewer and a fan of F1, somebody who watches for competition, not a fan of that move.
No.
I don't love that. I want to see these guys race. You have the constructors sewn up. Let's just let them go, man. Like, what
Yeah.
are we so worried about? I get like you're managing personalities, but one of these guys is going to resent the decision at the end of the year. Uh, I don't know what kind of problem it'll bring or if any, but it's just, I don't know. I don't agree with it.
Cause I was telling you earlier, like, obviously I lean more towards Lando when it comes to McLarens. As a Lando fan, yeah, I was stoked about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
In the eyes of racing, though, like you said, in competition,
Yeah.
why we watch Formula One, why we watch motorsport, why we're into it, we want to see that action. And I feel
Yeah.
like that would have been a cool down to the wire thing. If Lando doesn't fight back, then maybe at the last second. I did like Oscar's calm, cool, and collectiveness. I did like his response
Mm.
saying like he outqualified me. He had better pace all race than me. It wasn't his fault that what happened in the pit. Yes, it sucks, but I understand. I put my case out there. They told me to do it. I did it. I'm here for the team.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I can respect the hell out of that.
No, on a personal level between the two guys, it's absolutely, Lando getting that position back. Is it fair? Yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
But
If we're
life's
talking
not
about no
fair.
outside forces, but kind of where I'm going with it. It's like, look, at the end of the day, this is racing. And like Oscar said over the radio, I thought we agreed that pit was just part of racing. This is just part of racing.
It's like an
So
engine
clearly
failure
they had a
last
meeting.
week.
Right. So clearly they had a meeting about this. They talked about this exact situation and the team went back on it. So I mean, I don't like one more than the other. I think Oscar's a more, I don't know what the right word is, but he's a more cutthroat driver. He's more of what I picture as a champion, right?
Yeah.
That do or die, willing to do whatever. And Lando's starting to get there a little bit more now, the second half of the year when it matters, which is amazing. Lando's obviously a tremendous, tremendous guy, super friendly, super fun, just happy dude. Oscar's kind of plain,
He's
but
the
that's
ice
part of his
boy.
charm.
He's the ice
He is,
boy,
and
not
look,
ice
I was a
man.
huge fan
There's
of.
only one ice man.
I'm a huge fan of Kimi Räikkönen. I think
Yeah.
his just deadpan face is one of the funniest things on the planet. But the guy was a champion for a reason. He had that disassociation. And when I see a champion, that's what I think of. But at the end of the day, whichever one of these drivers wins doesn't necessarily matter to me. But I'm rooting for them both. I just want to see good racing at the end of the day.
I'm rooting for them both. No, I'm just kidding.
Look, it's gonna happen though. It's gonna happen. And I think this week was the point it could have happened, and McLaren saw that and said, we don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
And like
we're gonna make them sort this out.
Yeah.
And the deflation of Piastri right after he did the move, it reminded me of Australia when they told him to ease up. He just, as soon as you tell him to get out of that mindset, get out of that focus, he just falls on his face.
Yeah.
And I can't blame him. That's deflating. Like the team's telling you, don't
race. Don't do what you do on a daily basis.
Right. And you're interrupting the guy's flow, and you saw this time, the time just started falling away from him. Lando was gone. There was no chance. If they just let him race, I think they both would have finished the race in a quicker time. It would have been a closer race, would have been more exciting. I felt kind of robbed.
Yeah.
How'd you feel? You feel the same way? You feel kind of robbed?
I feel the same. And honestly, like I'll kind of leave with this one thing that I was thinking about too. What was the point difference between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton when Nico won?
Honestly, I don't remember. What was it? 5? That's all it takes. Look, it doesn't matter if it's
3
one.
points. These 3 points could make or break it. And like you said, that is going to leave one very happy and one very, very upset individual at the end of the year. So we'll see what happens with it. Honestly, like we've got 8 more races to go. So, I mean, again, 31-point difference, still right there. It's anybody's race. So,
yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Get on your horse, Lando. Get on your horse. Let's go, buddy. I want to see. I want a final battle.
Seriously, I want something. I want a couple final battles over these next 8 races. So we'll see what happens.
I don't want this decided in Vegas. I want this decided in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, one final race, minimal points between the two. Whatever happens.
That's right. I want some fireworks.
We'll get them.
And FIA, don't mess up the call.
Good Lord.
Last time we had one of those, not fun.
No. Speaking of the
I could.
individual who had the worst outcome in that situation, Ferrari. Let's go over to them. Um, that was, I mean, Lewis, 5 place grid penalty, clawed
Yeah,
back to sixth. I think he did all he could. I mean, you could see on the timetables that he just kept on losing to Russell as he went. Then he pitted, and then it was,
yeah.
I think after the pit stop, that was pretty much solidified. He had like a 12 second, 15-second gap between who was behind him. I can't even remember who was behind him today.
When he was down in, when he came out
When
of
he was
pits, or when he was
sixth. No, when he was whoever was behind him in sixth. Who finished seventh? Albon.
Albon.
Yeah, I think he had like a 12. He finished like 12 seconds ahead or something like that. And then Russell was ahead another like
Yeah,
8 to 10 seconds. So he was solidified there. Charles, I think just because the pace of the McLarens and Max just showing everybody who he is and putting it all on the
yeah.
table today. Like I
And,
think Leclerc
yeah.
finishing fourth. Hey, you know what?
Not for nothing. He was only 4 seconds behind though.
Yeah, but he stayed. I feel like he was consistently just steady at that 4 second mark throughout the race. He didn't really bust that down much once they took off. He was between like 4 and 7 seconds throughout the whole race, I felt.
Yeah, but they maxed out that Ferrari. They looked for
Both
what
of
they had.
them.
I thought they performed great. I don't think you could ask for more, especially with Max being super Max. You're the constructor that finished third. If you
Yeah.
look at it that way, they perform well.
I have a
It was a good
question
race.
for you. No 5 place grid penalty. What do you think happens if Lewis starts fifth?
He either ends up in fifth or he ends up in sixth. They didn't have anything for McLaren.
Yeah. He had great
Maybe he
pace
ends
in the
up
beginning.
fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he ends up fourth, but Leclerc's just more acclimated to a Ferrari car anyway. So I think wheel to wheel right now, I don't see him winning out. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think Ferrari should be pretty happy with the performance. They got a good boatload of points, and
That was
on
my
to the next.
yeah, that was my thought. I felt like if he didn't get I feel like he would have been fourth at best if he would have started where he actually qualified. And fifth, he would have got fourth
Yeah,
at best, most likely stayed in fifth.
yeah, it was a toss up.
Yeah.
I
But I
think
don't see him getting
I
on
don't
the
think they can ask for
podium.
more.
I will say one thing.
Yeah.
What were our predictions last week? Because I know obviously Max wasn't anywhere near either of our
What did I
results.
say? No, I had Leclerc. Let's see. You had, they're written down in my book here. There we go. You had Lando, Oscar, Charles. I had Lando, Charles, Oscar.
So I was right, except I needed it to be second, third, fourth.
Yes, exactly.
But
No, look, I think, like I said, to wrap up the Ferrari thing, I think they should be Ferrari, and this is their home. Monza is what they build their car for. This is kind of, they have a specific Monza spec. Even McLaren came with one this year, which was interesting. But Ferrari builds their car for Monza, and at the end of the day, when they changed their car, that 90% or whatever the heck it was, might have been a bit too much. It was just too much.
I will say too, just how cool was it? I don't know if you saw it, but when I know they didn't win, but when they came side by side, formation lap, just kind of like it wasn't as cool as when him and Valtteri did it in the Mercedes.
Oh, that was like, dude,
that was
the coolest thing.
So
it was just cold
because
that was right
cool
after
seeing Ferrari do it.
Yeah, I mean, when we first saw it, it made me think of the Mercedes thing. Watching them win the races by 30 seconds. and you just have two cars just full men
and that was
black
at Monza.
Outfits,
that was at Monza when they did that too.
Oh yeah, it was such a big middle finger to Ferrari, but it was so cool. It was just badass. Like everybody knew.
Yeah,
there was just nothing like him. Toto coming over the speaker.
Show our friends from Italy
formation, formation all the way back. Kimmy, I'm waiting for you. It was amazing. It was amazing.
I know this is your favorite question of the day right now. Sainz and Ollie situation with your most esteemed FIA stewards.
You know what? What do they say? FIA, I think, stands for freaking inconsistent assholes.
Yeah.
It is. I don't even know where to begin. If you watch it, I've watched it back like 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Just seeing like, oh, you know what? maybe Ollie did shove his nose in where it didn't belong. He never left his side. He was never clear of the car, and Sainz kind of cut in. Sainz probably, and from his perspective, looks like he was by him, and he thought he should have backed out a little bit because he had the inside. He's got to slow down. But I don't know. That's a racing incident to me. That's a guy being aggressive, trying to close a door on a young kid who I don't think he made a mistake either. He was trying to hold his position, and realistically, if he left him that space and they came out parallel going down that next straight, I don't know who would have came out. Sainz then has the inside if they stay side by side all the way down that straight. But
I saw an article that was like, how are we defending Sainz last week in his situation for the 10-second penalty, and then this week they're doing the same thing again in a different scenario that was even less. I didn't see. Again, like you said, like they could have gone. I feel like it was like maybe an 80-20, like 20%. It could have been a penalty on Ollie because again, he had half the car in front. He did have that was Sainz Carlos's line. Could have backed off, but at the end of the day, racing incident.
I agree. I don't think it was overly aggressive by either teammate, either racer. It was just unfortunate happenstance. Things happen. It's racing. It's what we do. I don't think it was a mistake on either one's part either. It was just kind of a thing that happened. Two guys going for the same spot.
Yeah.
It happens. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the FIA taking away a lot of this wheel-to-wheel racing stuff. God, if these same stewards go back, they watch Vettel going at it with some of these other racers or Fernando,
they'd have a heart attack.
They'd have a heart attack. It's too much. Like, stop, just let them race. Let them race. And then you can't even use safety as an excuse on that one. Come on.
I keep thinking, and I know, it's still sport, but I also enjoy watching the NFL. And it's just like, how
is it a catch?
Is it a catch? Did he touch him too hard? Did he breathe in his direction? That's a flag, 15-yard penalty. I feel like everything, they are trying to protect these. It's the same situation with the FIA. They are trying to protect them and think of safety. But how far are you going to take it to where it's not a safety situation anymore, and you're just being so nitpicky on these things for no reason?
End of the day, right? And at the end of the day, this is a sport where they're going over 200 miles an hour, a quarter of an inch off the ground,
and a quarter of an inch next to each other.
It's not safe inherently. You can only make it so safe. Why are we're taking away the sport? We're just making everything decided by penalties and rules. I want to watch them race.
And I'm sorry.
It's so
Speaking of the FIA, once I kept looking back at the whole red flag 5-place grid penalty for Lewis. Are you serious? He didn't lift he was maybe a second to 2 seconds late on lifting, and you're going to get nowhere near the incident, nowhere near another car.
Right. I'm very split on it, and I have more of an understanding for it just because there was straight up people on the grid. I think it's a little bit excessive of a penalty, but I understand it a little bit. But it's an oversensitivity to some of these things.
Yeah.
I remember I was watching back the 2015 USA Grand Prix, and there's watching the yellow flag being waved. All these cars are zooming by, and there's a cat loader carrying a car, and my heart just sank. I'm like, whoa, because obviously we all remember what happened to Bianchi.
Yeah.
And you see something that happen. I still get, my hair is literally standing out. I got chills. I remember watching that, but you see something like that before it happened, and you're like, what the result is.
Yeah.
So I understand the safety to a certain level, but these cars are so safe now. What we see happen with them, it's just getting too much.
And it makes
kind of like football.
It makes me laugh when I go and watch when you go watch Le Mans series, or when you go watch any GT races. These dudes are driving around with the hauler, like you just said, with the haulers right next to them. I get it. They're not in open wheel, open faced cars. You're still in a car. You're still going, and they're just chugging along, going right by, still getting laps down, going through the motions. No
Yeah,
red.
and it makes your heart.
When it's a red
It's like, oh,
flag, you know that somebody just almost died when they put a red
yeah,
flag and halt the course
yeah.
on those races. When they do a red
Mhm.
flag here, it's because someone spun out in the gravel and now they're just hanging halfway, teetering on the road, and nothing happened. They just spun out.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. If you're helpless, if you're totally helpless, you're in. I don't know.
All
The
I can think of
use.
is Russell screaming "red flag" when Lance Stroll.
Look,
Red
you
flag,
know what?
red flag. Lance Stroll's coming. Red flag, red flag.
Eh, Russell, that moment was like, if I'm Russell, I'm panicking too. But like, God, the penalties are just what gets me because it affects the end of the race.
Yeah,
And I can't stand that. I hate to see a race finished by penalties. It's part of why I hate a lot of the things that they have on some of these tracks. Too many asphalt runoffs. Too much of this. Too much of that. It's there's no consequence. Your consequence is a numerical penalty. It's 5 seconds. It's 10 seconds, and then you get to decide, is it worth it? Which is, I don't know, that's not how this should work. You go off the track, there should be a penalty. And the penalty should be, I just drove through a bunch of grass or gravel and fucked the bottom of my car.
yeah.
I don't think it should be, I don't know. I just don't like the way it's handed out. I don't like that. But at the
My
end of the
only
day,
qualms with gravel.
what do you got?
So I like gravel too because I feel like it's the same thing. Like learn how to corner. Like if you take
Yeah,
something too hard, you're gonna pay the consequences. But
sure.
like the one thing I do hate is like when the gravel does get kicked on and they
Yeah.
don't. It's like the gravel stays there, and if someone catches it, then they get spun out with it,
Hmm.
or they mess up their car with it, or they do a yellow just to sweep off the track. We lose a couple
Yeah,
laps.
which we
Somebody,
saw.
yeah, exactly. So like that's my only qualm with it, but I agree with you. I feel like the
I'd
asphalt
like to see
runoffs, yeah,
it's too much. I'd like to see like a 3 or 4 foot strip of grass and then gravel.
yeah,
That's what I'd like. If you touch the grass, you're more than likely going to slide into the gravel, but the gravel's probably not coming back onto the road.
yeah,
Uh, I think that's a pretty fair trade-off. All these asphalt runoffs that are just paint, it's kind of a joke.
yeah,
You have guys like Max who are so smart, they can exploit that. They push a guy off the track and they know, well, I'm not going to wreck him. I'm just going to send him out into the gravel, or I can bail out of this move. I just got to make sure my nose is in front.
yeah,
I get to bail out into some nice asphalt and just go. I don't like that. I don't think
no,
that's how it should be. I like nobody wants to see anybody get hurt, but I like the consequence of making a mistake. I feel like that's better.
yeah.
It I
I
don't know.
agree.
That's just me.
I agree. Again, I hate it when the innocent bystander or the innocent racer that's coming
Hmm.
by
Oh yeah,
sometimes will get
absolutely.
caught up in it because someone just went off and then boom, they're right behind them out into the
Yeah,
gravel themselves.
but
So
but again, a lot of that to me is just that's racing, uh, to an extent.
because
But
again, if we
no, I
go and
agree.
compare it to GT racing and things like that, they're running
Mhm.
over pieces of car and for about 2 or 3 laps before they're like, yeah, okay, we'll move it. We've had 4 punctures. We might as well get this off now.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like I can understand stopping for some of this stuff, but I don't know. I like the consequence. I think that's
Yeah.
important. I think it's an important thing to have, and I think that they've lost it.
Now they're just
I
like
don't know.
Oprah
It's a
handing
weird
out
thing
5 and 10 second penalties.
for stuff they should. It's absurd.
We love our underdogs here.
That we do.
How about the 3 rookies today? Eighth, ninth, and 10th. We got Hajar coming from the pit lane to points. I know it was
Yeah.
1 point, but at the end of the day, it is points. What a race.
Yeah.
Kid was just
The
head down,
kids.
focused, and moving.
Yeah. I mean, the kid showed up. Uh, he showed up this week after his big podium, and he kind of felt like a big shot. You could tell, listen to the radios.
Yeah.
No, I know. I hear you. I know the rules. Um,
Yeah,
and
that
like,
was funny.
it is funny, but the kid got his swagger. He's been driving that car like a madman all year.
Yeah.
I think it's just been dulled by everything else that was going on at Red Bull. No, fantastic to see. See him Bortoletto get up in the points yet again
Yet
in a
again.
Sauber.
He's just chilling.
Crazy.
He's usually between like 7th to 10th right now. He's been doing really well. He's got a couple races in the teens, but
Yeah.
he's switching it up here and there. Honestly, like one thing I do want to say about Hajar is too, like it was unfortunate that he didn't make it out of Q3, and his post-qualifying interview was very interesting about how Sainz was toying with him and he thought he was getting impeded, and just it was interesting. I actually didn't go back and look at it, but like, was that him just kind of running through with what happened to Lawson last week, and he's like, that's my boy? Or was he upset because he needed to find a scapegoat, or did it really happen? So like, it's something
Yeah, I
I want
think
to actually look back at.
yeah, for sure. I think Signs had a flip of the switch last week after that penalty with Lawson of just like, you know what? I've spent my whole career building up teams just to be kicked out. I'm thinking about Carlos now. I am doing this for Carlos. I'm not doing it for Williams. I'm doing it for Carlos. And I think which is, good for him.
Yeah.
But it is, I don't think that's what the beef was about. I think it was just the Racing Bull didn't really have that much pace on a single lap. Lawson ended up in 14th anyways.
Yeah.
But he qualified last? I think he was last
He
when
was
in the
last,
qualifying.
other than pit lane for Hadjar.
Yeah, so race pace itself was solid overall for a midfield team or a car you don't expect to do well. Carlos had a okay race. He finished right behind Hadjar at the end of the day. But yeah, no, that is an interesting kind of little rivalry we got going on here of the Racing Bulls and just Carlos.
Signs against the world right now with Ollie, Lawson, Isaac.
Rookies just hate him.
Yeah, he's the anti-nanny to Max.
Yes.
I will say one thing: it was good to see Kimmy kind of redeem himself a little bit, get into the top 10, get some points.
Yeah, I think a top 10 finish was important for him. I think he could have done better. I think he probably could have been up in like that 6th, 7th conversation.
Yeah,
he had a really bad start. Really bad start. But he worked his way back up. Decent.
Bortoletto with an amazing start.
That kid.
Did you see
so
him
underrated?
Skyrocket to the front.
Yeah, the kid's underrated just because he's in a Sauber.
Yeah.
When this team transitions to Audi and there's some big German money coming in, you got to look out for him.
Yeah.
They're going to have to look out for him.
No, absolutely. I agree. Looking forward, though, we got Baku next week.
Yep.
Last year, Leclerc pole position. Piastri win. Lando got 4th from qualifying 16th. So again, some good running individuals. We got Max, who finished up there. I think he finished 4th last year. I think that we'll have another good race on our hands. I know how you feel about street courses, but
yeah, not my favorite.
Not mine either. There's maybe one or two of them that I enjoy. This not being one of them.
There's a couple too many. There's a couple too many of them. I think we were saying Singapore is a fun race to watch. Vegas has surprisingly turned out some seriously good races,
and it's a cool spectacle too. Like, you have all the crazy lights, you have all the Vegas skyline in the background with it. It's a really cool setup. Yeah. So it's almost like a vanity style, like a novelty, if you will.
Yeah, it's America's
Miami
Vegas.
sucks.
It's America's Monaco. Yeah, Miami sucks. They're racing in a goddamn parking lot. Come on, it's autocross. Like, Jesus Christ, we could have picked a better place to do this, but what it is, what it is. No, I think Vegas is U.S.'s Monaco when it comes to these Grand Prix.
Yeah,
Monaco's not the most exciting when it comes to wheel-to-wheel racing. Extremely historic. You think F1, you think Monaco. It'd be a real shame if they ever got rid of it. But it's one of the races, if I was ever able to attend, I would drop everything to go. It's the place.
Yeah.
But no, I'm excited for this race. It should be a good race. Obviously, McLaren probably won too. Just makes sense.
I'm going to go wild with mine.
Really?
Yeah.
How wild are we talking about?
So, I don't know. Maybe not too wild. So, I'm still going to put Lando up there because he's not going off of a week where he got bamboozled. So, yeah, I'm going to put Lando at 1, Max at 2, and Leclerc in 3rd.
Whoa. You're saying Piastri's not even going to touch the podium?
I don't want him to, and I want to see this. I want
Well,
to see what happens there.
fair enough. I mean, so I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Baku is one of the fastest street circuits we have, I think.
I think so. At least it
Trying to
feels
think.
that way
Last
when
year,
I do it on the sim.
I was going to say, yeah. Last year, McLaren was pretty nuts there. I think, did Piastri win it last year?
Yeah,
I think he
Piastri
did.
won it last year, but
That was where
Lando,
that whole that's when that mini DRS thing happened, isn't
yeah,
it?
Lando
Yeah.
was qualified P16 and got all the way up to fourth. So
Yeah. I
he's
think we're
got
going to
good pace
have,
there. Leclerc still ended up
hmm,
podium last year as well.
I think we're going to have a Lando, Oscar, Charles, I think.
Yeah. Honestly, I think yours is more realistic, but just the way that Max has been doing recently, I don't see him not being on a podium right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't think the car has it in it for certain circuits like we've seen throughout the year. They can't run the downforce. They can't run the low downforce to the level they did today. But Max is Max. If he wants to be Super Max that day, he's Super Max, and nobody can touch him.
Doesn't matter
He
what the car's
has
doing. He'll scream and
he,
motherfuck it the whole time, and then still finish in third worst. So
yeah, no, that was one thing that I thought was so funny through that like 2023 domination of Red Bull. Every race, he's like, "God damn it, this car can't turn."
yeah,
I'm like, Max, you're winning the race by 40 seconds. What are you talking about? Sergio's in the wall somewhere.
I
And
hope we
he's
don't see
just
that with
checked
Cadillac. I
out.
don't want to see Sergio in the wall in Cadillac. I want to see them do well. So I'm hoping that we don't get that
Yeah.
call too many times.
Well, I think worst case they're going to end up like a in the similar position to Haas. They have the same power unit. I believe they're getting the similar monocoque made by Dallara. Um, I think they're going to be pretty solid. They're not going to be anything that lights the world on fire, but
yeah.
I think they're going to be a solid midfield team coming out here. They got two great drivers. Did you see the sign? Did you see the test driver?
Oh yeah.
Colton Herta.
Yep.
I think we all kind of can see the direction they're trying to go with this now. With Herta, obviously does not have his super license yet. He cannot participate in the actual races, but he can do test sessions. So with these test sessions, I believe it's every 100 kilometers you complete, you earn one super license point. If he keeps doing that, he will get his super license and he will be in an F1 car with a Cadillac name on it when Sergio or Valtteri leaves.
Yeah, that'll be
So
wild. We'll see what
very
happens
excited for
next
them.
year with it. That is it for us this week though. We are excited to see what happens in Baku. We will be back next week with a little bit of recap on that. As always, just make sure you go check us out on our platforms. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Spotify. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, come and join us for the ride. As always though, keep the throttle down, the conversation wide open, and we'll catch you next time.